Every Bengals fan knows the magic of Joe Burrow depends on the weapons we put around him, and the front office just made a move that has the league talking. We needed size and we needed strength to complement our superstars, but the choice they made in the 4th round is being called the most surprising gamble of the entire draft. Before we dive into why this prospect is such a wild card, please subscribe to help us reach 500 subscribers and hit that like button. This is huge. Kobby Young is the name on everyone's lips right now because he represents a massive swing for the fences by our front office. After focusing on defensive upgrades like Cassius Howell and Tacario Davis earlier in the draft, the Bengals decided to address the wide receiver depth in a way nobody expected. Joe Burrow needs more than just 2 reliable targets, and while Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are the gold standard, the drop-off after them has been a concern for those of us watching the roster build. This young man from Georgia was recently singled out by Ryan Wilson of CBS Sports as the team's most surprising pick, and for good reason. He stands as an enormous target, the kind of physical presence that can win those tough contested catch situations that often determine the outcome of a playoff game. However, the reason he was available in the 4th round isn't just about his play on the field. There were some notable off-field concerns and an injury history from his last season that made several teams hesitant to call his name. The talent is undeniable when you look at the tape, but the Bengals had to weigh those risks against the potential reward of giving our franchise quarterback a new best friend in the red zone. If he can overcome the issues that plagued his draft stock and cut down on occasional drops, he could quickly transform into a nightmare for defensive coordinators across the AFC North. We have seen this organization take chances on high-upside players before, and sometimes those risks pay off in the form of a Super Bowl run. The team clearly felt that his ability to high-point the ball and use his massive frame against smaller cornerbacks was too valuable to pass up when he started sliding down the board. By taking this shot in the middle rounds, the Bengals are betting on their culture and their coaching staff to bring the best out of a prospect who has all the physical tools to be a star. It is a classic low-cost, high-reward scenario that defines how a championship roster is truly rounded out during the offseason. When you look at what this new addition brings to the field, it is all about the physical dimensions that simply cannot be coached. At his height and weight, the prospect offers a catch radius that few others in this rookie class can match. In the SEC, he made a living by snatching balls out of the air while defenders were draped all over him, a skill that translates perfectly to the professional level where windows are tight. This isn't just about speed. It is about the my ball mentality that allows a receiver to dominate the sideline. Imagine a situation on 3rd and goal where the defense is doubling our primary stars, and Joe suddenly has a target who is 6'5" and knows how to use his body like a shield. That kind of luxury can change the entire geometry of the field for an offense. The tape shows a player who understands how to use his shoulders to create space and has the strength to fight through press coverage at the line of scrimmage. While some scouts worried about his pure breakaway speed, his ability to win the jump ball makes him a unique tool for our offensive coordinator. We have seen how much the passing game thrives when there is a vertical threat who can also act as a security blanket on short crossing routes. The impact on the locker room will also be fascinating to watch, as the veterans will likely take him under their wing to ensure he stays focused on the task at hand. There is a specific grit required to play in Cincinnati, especially when the weather turns cold in December and January. Having a physical specimen who can thrive in those conditions is exactly what a team needs for a deep postseason push. The front office saw a player who was being undervalued because of things that happened away from the gridiron, and they made the calculated decision that his ceiling was simply too high to ignore. If he integrates well and learns the playbook quickly, the depth chart behind our 2 main stars suddenly looks a lot more formidable than it did just a few months ago. This move matters so much because it directly affects how many games we can win when the pressure is at its highest. If our new receiver can step in and provide even 4 or 5 big catches a game, it takes the massive weight off the shoulders of the rest of the unit. We have all seen games where the offense stalls because the defense focuses everything on stopping our top 2 guys. By adding a big-bodied weapon, the Bengals are making it impossible for teams to play those kinds of games anymore. This is about keeping the chains moving and making sure our star quarterback stays healthy by giving him an easy target to find when things get messy in the pocket. If this works, it means more touchdowns and fewer punts, which is the simplest formula for success in the NFL. It also protects the team against the inevitable injuries that happen during a long 17-game season. If one of our starters has to miss time, having a high-upside player ready to step up could be the difference between making the playoffs or watching from home. We are talking about a lottery ticket that could pay out in a big way during the most important moments of the year. The risk of failure is there, of course, but the cost of a fourth-round pick is relatively low compared to the massive benefit of finding a starting caliber player. This helps the team win more games by creating mismatches that most cornerbacks in our division aren't prepared to handle. Think about the physical battles against the Ravens or the Steelers. You need guys who can hold their own and fight for every yard. That is exactly what this selection was designed to address. It simplifies the game for the coaches and gives the fans something to be genuinely excited about as we head toward training camp. When you have a player who can consistently win those one-on-one battles, you don't have to rely on perfect play calling every single snap. You can just throw it up and let your athlete go get it, which is a beautiful sight for any fan to see. Let's look at the two paths this could take because the stakes are incredibly high for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. In the best-case scenario, the young man arrives in Cincinnati with a chip on his shoulder and a point to prove. He stays healthy, stays out of trouble, and becomes the perfect third option that this offense has been missing since some of our previous veterans moved on. He becomes a red zone monster, catching 10 touchdowns and making highlight reel grabs that ignite the crowd at the stadium. If that happens, the Bengals become the most dangerous offense in the entire league, and no one will be able to stop us from reaching the big game in 2026. But if it fails, the consequences are equally real. If the off-field issues resurface or if the drops continue to be a problem, we will have wasted a valuable draft pick on a player who can't stay on the field. The tension in the building will rise if the coaching staff can't get him to focus, and it could leave a hole in the roster at a position where we desperately need stability. We have seen talented players flame out before, and it always hurts more when the physical potential was so obvious to everyone watching. The pressure is on the young man to show that he has matured and that he is ready for the professional lifestyle. Every practice will be scrutinized and every mistake will be magnified by the media and the fans. If he struggles early, the surprising pick label will start to feel like a burden rather than a compliment. But that is the nature of the NFL. You have to take these chances if you want to be great. The difference between a good season and a legendary one often comes down to these types of gambles. Will he be the next great Bengals receiver, or will he be a cautionary tale of what could have been? The fans are waiting with bated breath to see which version shows up when the lights are the brightest. The front office has placed their bet, and now it is up to the player to prove them right. To put it simply, the Bengals have taken a bold leap of faith with Kobby, and it might just be the smartest move of the offseason. They recognized a unique talent that had fallen through the cracks, and decided that the potential reward outweighed the risks associated with his past. Now, it all comes down to how he handles the transition to the big leagues and whether he can become the reliable weapon Joe Burrow needs. Be honest with me, do you think taking a chance on a player with off-field concerns is worth it if it means getting a superstar athlete in the fourth round? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below because this is a move that could define our season. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as we push toward our goal of 500 subscribers, and don't forget to leave a like if you are excited to see what this new look offense can do. We will be right here with you, tracking every step of this journey as the Bengals hunt for that elusive championship trophy. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, WHO Dey! Let us go get that Super Bowl ring together now.